Part three. This is taking place a couple of days later than part two, and the place is a bit dusty at the moment. Everything's been wire brushed down in the areas that I wanted. So I've put some rust killer on overnight. I may put some more on today, but this episode is going to be a little bit skip because me going round with, well, I'm gonna get the air compressor and blow all the dust away from the car for a start, and then go round with a scouring sponge or whatever you probably want to use, a microfiber cloth or whatever, doused in white spirits. So the spirits will clean all the bits and pieces, suspension components, bodywork, whatever you name it, that needs to be cleaned before paint needs to be applied. I am going to be using my traditional method of cardboard aided painting. Cap, that's a good word, because I cannot be asked to mask up half the time. If I do need to mask up, I'll mask up. But my traditional technique of cap and then wiping away any excess paint with white spirit absolutely immediately rather than masking up is a very logical thing to do. Not, but it works for me. Quite frankly, I can't be bothered with masking. And masking tape doesn't stick to the car. You put it on and it starts peeling off, and then by the time you sprayed it up, it's half off anyway, and you've got to wipe the paint off the component that you got paint on. So yeah, not ideal, but it doesn't leave for very good viewing. So I'm just gonna get on with cleaning the car, and then the next shot will be paintwork. Lovely. And then some silver hook underseal, and it is literally going to be some drips and dabs here. It's taken many hours, but on video it doesn't show this, but I'm hoping that it looks nice afterwards. Let's blow you away, let's blow you away. Bam! Rust killer's gone off. Now, while I go over with some more rust killer, this is the reaction you can get in some places, particularly if it's actually not rusty, but it doesn't matter because it's going to be painted. You may have noticed this bit, as some of you might be questioning what that is. Well, unfortunately, when the garage did the patch years ago, they didn't do it very neatly on this side. I think a different person, I think they just I'm luckily this hasn't rotted out, and I think they actually did it quite well. It was one of them MOT patches just to get through the MOT, but they did a very good job on both sides because it's welded nicely on the back side, which is where some people cheapen out and they don't weld it on the back side and it rots out again. But this corner was a bit funny, and I actually cut this piece out. They actually missed this bit on the corner where there was just a little bit of rusty metal. It was like, it wasn't rusty, it was like a little thin piece of metal that you could actually just twist. It was very weak. They weren't rusty, so what I did, I just cut a nice line. I mean, I was going to cut all the way across here to make it look a bit more neater, but I may do that, but that's why this bit is missing. It's not rotten or anything. It just looks a bit weird. It should just go all the way down there, but it is the way it is. But it looks nice now. Now I've blown it all away. I've got to go down to the garage and get one of my light fittings for this, and then I've got to rewire this. I've got to put some new insulation on this, ideally. But it's a good opportunity to sort that out at the same time. But right, I am just going to continue with the rust killing. I've just put some rust killer on the back of this sill, and on the front of it as well, but it's all come up really nicely. I mean, the front is actually looking ridiculously good now. Honestly, I shouldn't be dipping it into the white spirit, man. Oh dearie me, that was a difficult job, but I've done all four corners now in white spirit and a scourer which is black as anything. I've gone over everything, including the arches themselves, even at the top of the arch where I'm not going to be painting, but I thought it was best to be thorough. But it looks like I've had a wee in the bottle. I can assure you I haven't got caught short, trust me, I'm not that bad. But yeah, dipping it in the white spirit wasn't a great thing, but still it's white spirit all the same. But it has been really nicely degreased now. It's gone into a matte. It looked amazing when I was applying the white spirit. Now it's gone into a matte, which is exactly what you want. It's all the basis for what I'm about to do. And I can take you around the front here. It's all nice and clean, including the bottom arm. These bottom arms get really dirty. I recommend this as a job. White spirit, really, it's a degreasant, and a very cheap degreasant, and it will do the job apart from taking your labels off. That's okay, it looks very authentic. But if you look over here, there's just nothing to see now. It's now nice and clean, and it is ready. I mean, look at the front. I don't have air conditioning in my model, by the way. If you do know, the air conditioning, the evaporator sits around here, and then there's loads of pipe work that goes around here, and it's all basically here. But there isn't. It's just a void of space in my car, which I really like. But yeah, it is now looking really clean, and it is ready for paint. I just need to get some cardboard, CAP. Just before we start painting, I have managed to get a spare rear lamp holder from my spares. Very useful, and this is really clean. So I'll plug that in. Actually, theoretically I can do it actually on camera in front of you. Just pop the bulb in, come on, and then we turn it right. That's fantastic. And then we just pop it in and then give it a twist. Yes, and then put the wiring on. Yes. Oh, how very simple that was. I must do something about this wiring. I'm just going to tidy that up with insulation tape. Yeah, well, we're ready to go now. Right, now we're all dry. Main thing, I'll be applying silver hook underseal to the areas that need topping up, like for instance behind the inner sill. What we got here, zinc primer. That's the first coat. We are going to be using that very soon. I do need to get more of this stuff because I go for it like nothing. And then might need some more stone chip. There's not a lot there. And I have got some matte black somewhere. I'll go and find that in a bit. But basically that's what I'm going to be doing now. Zinc primer goes first, and we're going to be painting all the components that have needed to be rust treated and took back to bare metal, at least to a more stable surface. That rust treatment will kill any rust that's left residually. What I mean is, if you can't go back to bare metal for whatever reason, because you haven't got the white wire brush attachment, or you just can't get in because it's such a tight angle, like some of them corners up the front wheel arch, then that's absolutely fine. Just get it back as much as you can until you can't see any rust dust coming off it. And when the dust kind of settles, you know you're kind of down to pretty much the minimum in terms of rust, and then you go over with the rust killer, and then the rust killer will ensure that you've got a good stable surface for the paint. Okay, now this is my system. You may have other systems, but it's worked for me. And if you've seen the underside in part 1, that's kind of how it's got, and it's held up really well. So I would recommend doing it this way. Anyway, let's crack on. Just a touch around that. some on the bottom arm, and just some on the corners of the subframe. Just aim on point. Go. Just certain areas. There we go, lovely. Just focus on the bottom arm again. Lovely. So point it down there. Don't worry about any overspray because it will go over in stone chip. Lovely. Yeah, painted the gearbox as well. Lovely, lovely, lovely. I do need to see if I can actually brush that to make that it look even better than what it is, but it's one of those things, isn't it? Aluminium oxide. Makes me think of Star Wars, this end cap. Just concentrate on the underside just here. Yep. Just a bit there. The back of the subframe looks actually really good now I've done that. Just gonna have a look down here. Yeah, that's all good. Just a tad there, that's it. Yeah, just gonna go over the underside here, but I'll do that off camera. It's a difficult one, that is. Let's go up here, a bit here, all on the back. It was getting a bit funny here where they previously put some sealant where they did the rear end bodywork. I think some of this is completely new, well, new metal work. I'd say about 5 years younger than the rest of the car, if anything. By the accident history is going by. Just put a load down there. Make sure you put a load down in this gully here, just for pleasure, and just stick some down there. I will wipe over the overspray, but don't worry if I get it on the handbrake cable, my nice new handbrake cable. And remember, if you're changing your handbrake cable, change this bit as well that goes into the drum. If you've got the drum brake models, you've got this little section here with this little metal clip, okay? This is where the handbrake finishes. This is where the little tiny handbrake to the drums goes in, and these can stretch as well as these. So if you're changing your handbrake, change these. I'm pretty sure if I can get a parts number up, I'll show you. Yeah, wait a minute, got this bit here. Again, don't worry about overspray at the moment because I'm not particularly bothered. A functional job. If you want factory, disassemble the entire car. I know, don't paint the bolts, Andrew. We try not paint the bolts, but especially these, because you can see them. There you go. Bit of white spirit, gently wipes it off. We just need to get in there, just in that box section here with this control arm. So you've got the lower, so basically I will tell you now, when I think I did a rear suspension video, I'll repeat again, this is the lower arm, okay? This is one of the two control arms. So we've got the banana arm here, which is the upper arm, the upper banana arm, which goes from the hub onto that top bit of the subframe. That's the highest bit of the subframe. And then you've got the bottom arm, which is like a radius arm, version of a radius arm, goes to the bottom here. It's very difficult to get this bolt back in. I will warn you about that. If you're taking this off, you need to jack the car up to line up that bolt. It's easy to get that one in first, but you see how slanted this control arm is. That's how they normally sit when they're resting because the suspension is obviously at the resting position. Yeah, this little box section gets a bit funny as well. Just in the inside, because you can't really get into it. I did as good a job as I could when I did the control arms. And then this is your rear lower arm. So you got your 2 control arms, and then you got the rear lower arm which the spring sits on. This is the one that you need to watch. Luckily mine have been changed for decent aftermarket ones. I don't know what brand, I can't tell you, because I didn't fit these. The garage fitted these years ago and they did a good job. They obviously didn't cut these off. They managed to get them out quite good, but it looks really good. Copper brake lines look really good. I like to give them a bit of a clean. I'll just go in, just get in there, a bit more zinc primer just in this bit. Yeah, good. Just get in. Oh, come on, get your nozzle in there, Andrew. I mean, you end up painting other bits as well, but that's the idea. You just you go around as it is. You come to the back side. Yeah. There's a bit up there. You can see it. There you go. Now this is a pretty difficult thing to aim for with a can because you're so close to it. So just dabs a light press. It would help if I got the can aimed in the right direction. There we go. It is blotchy and just go around the anti-roll bar. It's a bit scuffy here. I'm glad it's bright because I can actually show you this. This has come up really well. You could see where there's a little bit of rust that I didn't get out, but let's come up there again. I'm trying to get you in the, there we go. Yeah, just a bit on there. Okay, I wasn't happy with that. That's looking pretty good up there, and that's looking good up there. They can rot out where that bolt goes through the subframes if you're really unlucky, but it's not usual that they do that. And then you've got this top box section up here. You've got the exhaust hanger just here. This is the one you have to change if you get a Mark III subframe, because it's somewhere over here, I think. And just put a bit of, yeah, okay. I ended up painting the exhaust as well today. All good. And just on the top here as well, top corner on the top. If I just get this camera and move you, so I can't really show you that actually, but the top bit is where it gets a bit frilly as well, because all sorts of stuff just lands on the top bit and then sits there. The camber bolts look good at the back. Yeah, I'm taking advantage because I can show you this. And the back side, I mean, the backing plates of the drums look really good. They've held up well, and the back of the train arm has actually held up really well as well. I mean, mine are quite clean. Everything is nice and clean. You can get a bit frilly down at the bottom side of the hub, but it's all good. And just need to put that over there, and then bring over here. Ugh. I didn't clean this tank as fully as what I should have, and I'll do that in a bit. Again, I've got to go over all this. This is what you need to go over, this chassis leg. Okay, I'm going to do mine in zinc primer and that box section in there. In fact, that massive hole in there, I'm going to shove a load of Dynax in that, because that's just a hollow box section. They can go pretty easily. It's not thick metal, I can assure you. You can actually see now the entire arch. Here we go. That's the best view of the arch you're going to get today. I've cleaned it out as much as I could, but as I say, it's just the shop mount. But that again, you know, it's, we look behind these two, as I say, just watch this this seam here. It is starting to peel up, but there's no rust behind it, hence why, look, that seal that is, and there's no rust, so I'm happy with that. Just as I say, get behind here as well with the underseal, these seams. But as I say, I might want to cut this off in the future because I don't see any purpose for it. It's not structural, but look at the strut tops. And obviously I need to clean that a bit more fully around there, but they don't usually go around there at all. And yeah, just look at that seam there, and I'm going to get in there, that little section just here in there. I'm going to get in there with some more because, you know, I just don't want to take chances. The backing plates have held up really well after a stone chip. I thought mine were too far gone, but turns out they're okay. Whoa! What an amazing day. Oh, I love a skyscraper. I mean, honestly, you couldn't have picked a better day to do paintwork. Now, the zinc primer is going off, and it would have gone off by now. As to say, it's gone off all the way down there. Got a few areas to touch up, but mainly that's it. Now, I've just had a conversation with my bodywork man, and this car is definitely, he wasn't sure because he's on holiday at half the time, he's going to respray the passenger side around the early June, which is fantastic, and now I can lay the groundwork for exactly what I am doing. I cannot overstate how nice it is to work on your car on a day like this. I mean, to be fair, normal people would just be having a nice little stroll. Not me. I like to take advantage. I've been working consistently in the dreadful weather. I mean, this car, I don't know, it's just proof that you can actually restore a car over the winter if you're determined enough. I did it without a garage, with an umbrella that kept falling over. I mean, for those of you who've watched my Rover 45 episodes, literally I was doing a timing belt, actually taking the cylinder head off in the rain. It was absolutely torrential that day, but I needed to do it. I needed to get things rolling, so it had to be done. And I've pretty much rebuilt that car over the winter. And now the dry weather has come, we're coming back to this car. Yep, onwards and upwards. I've just had to come in the shade because I can hardly see my phone screen, it's that bright. Next step, now the zinc primer has dried. I mean, you can do a second coat if you want to be thorough, but I don't think it's necessary because none of the pieces that I've seen are really bad. So stone chip next, and a bit of underseal to slap on as well. It. I'm going to take this underseal right to the bottom. Come in there, just black this up a little bit at the back. This is a high impact area, hence why I'm doing it over here. Not consistent, but it will dry off to an even finish. That's the idea. But this is a massive high impact area because the wheel is just shooting stuff this way. Obviously, if you've got your arch liner, this wouldn't be as affected as much. No, you're wrong. Actually, it will. I've seen these areas rot out on cars with wheel arch liners. Make no mistake about that one. It doesn't do anything apart from cause rust, particularly this section. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to place some underseal on that chassis rail. Mainly here. Just gone a bit down there, and I'll come up and basically put it on this section on the inside. Excuse me, I've just tacked all this in. Ugh. Excuse me. The stone chip is going to go on suspension components, but the body is going to be covered in underseal. So just any overspray, like on here, like if you get any of this underseal on here, just wipe off with white spirit. It will come off. Just make sure it's a nice, even coating. All around the strut areas. The main thing is I don't want to be painting this in underseal, so I've got to be a little bit more careful, so just put some in there as well. I do apologise for the camera work, but I am concentrating. It is really important that you concentrate on this job and get it right first time. Now what I've got to do is I've got to go, right, I can't really see, there we go. Now you can see what you're doing from the inside, so if you get your head up the back of the car, you can actually start spraying all this bit up here. Right, after a bit of wiping down, just to wipe away any excess around the brake pipe and all the other bits and pieces. I might have to go over a few little bits here and there, but mainly it's all been spread all the way down here, okay, all the way up there, you know, in all the high impact areas. I love underseal when it's fresh and shiny. It makes the car feel like it's properly protected now from the elements, and this is really good heavy duty underseal. It's not like a wax oil, it's just an underseal. I am obviously going to paint this in a second, but wow, that's just really good, really good. Just take it in here. If you can see that up there, yeah, that's the chassis rail. I don't think I'm going to be jacking on that from now on because it looks so good, but we've just cleaned around the handbrake, and the handbrake's being cleaned as well, but that looks nice. And repeated on the other side. All nice and cleaned around here and in there as well. Obviously ignoring this because this is going to be done. I'm leaving this. A bit of zinc primer on the drum, but it's all come up really, really nicely. Exactly what you sort of, it's what I intended, and this is the high impact area. I mean, I can coat it with Dynax, and Dynax is on its way. It hasn't arrived yet as per when I'm filming this, but nevertheless it will be done. I have had to give the exhaust a clean because naturally with a bit of white spirit, because naturally spray is going everywhere on it, and I'd like to keep it looking nice, to be honest. But that's all done as far as possible. Now as I say, I've just put some underseal along the inside of the sill, and I've just found out that I have slightly run out of it, and I've got to order more, and I order them in boxes of 6, and they work out about £5 a can each, so it's better than £7 and £8 a can, you know what I mean? And yeah, I've done that nicely now. The next stage, obviously, I will point out one thing. I haven't actually touched the front of the car really. Apart from this piece on this side and the other side, because it sort of comes under from the sill, I thought I would continue it round the corner, but these pieces I'm just going to be stone chipped, because the truth is the plastic arch liners means that this doesn't have to be a high impact area. In fact, I think you'll find I haven't actually undersealed inside this arch. I've literally just put stone chip on these front arches. It's the rear ones that I was concerned about, because historically when I took those arch liners off the car, excuse the sun on the camera, it is really bright out here. When I took the arch liners off originally about 5-6 years ago, and I had both sides plated up, as you've seen, I made the decision to underseal the rear arches at that point, because I was told, look, if you're going to remove, I was told by a couple of members they cause the issues. If you're going to remove them, make sure you've got some alternative in terms of underseal, really thick, nasty underseal, like maybe a wax oil or something. And I went for this silver hook stuff, and I've been using it for years. I didn't wax oil the rear arches. I only undersealed them because the rust wasn't really that bad, apart from those patches that were welded up. So that's why the back of the car is undersealed and underneath the car, but the front arches I only did last year as prep work for the paint work, because I knew that that side was going to be redone, and this side very soon, and it will be done this year in a couple of months. I wanted to do it in stone chip, so I decided to do it slightly differently at the front. Considering we've got the plastic arch liners, what I will do is stone chip all of these areas in here, okay? So that's the only bit of underseal, and then I will Dynax. I will concentrate the Dynax on the front arches and certain bits on the underside. I mean, I will probably top up I will concentrate on the suspension components, the subframes, the front subframe, the rear subframe, the suspension arms at the front and the back. These are the parts that are going to be Dynaxed. It's as simple as that, and it's the clear stuff that I used on Beatrix here. So I'm just going to dab a bit of stone chip on, and it's not going to be entertaining viewing, so I'll just cut to when I'm finished and I'll show you the final product. Take my paint mask off now. To any of you who are looking at this and thinking this is just impossible, I'm looking at my Mark 1 Focus and it's like 20 million times worse than what this is. Believe you me, one summer I've taken the car off-road for 2 months, maybe 3. Give yourself plenty of time. Order all the suspension parts. You can drop the subframe, it's not that hard, okay? And you start from there, and you can get all the bits and pieces, decent aftermarket ones, genuine Ford bits if you can get them. Don't worry if you can't. All these parts are obtainable. Paint, zinc primer, rust killer, a wire drill attachment on a drill. Doesn't have to be a brushless drill like mine. It can be a much more cheaper Chinese one. It will get you through the job. And this is what you end up with. And I tell you something, I've been going around with the stone chip, and there's not many areas that have deteriorated. You just do it once, you do it right, and you will not have to return to this in at least a few years. Obviously, rust protect it. Dynax is going to go on all this. So don't be intimidated. Anyone can do this. I never thought I could, and I couldn't change a spark plug 5 years ago. That's how bad I was. So yeah, if I can do it, you can do it, and that's what this channel is all about. Right, I think I better just finish off. Why all of a sudden am I wearing glasses in a change of clothes, enjoying this sun? Shouldn't I be working? Yeah, I should be. Unfortunately, I've run out of stone chip, and I've realised my supply of stone chip is, guess where? The garage. Right, there you are. One more will do. I'm gonna have to order more underseal because I have actually run out completely. So I'm gonna order a pack of 6. And I need a new bulb because I've discovered that actually on fitting that new bulb, it actually must have smashed the filament whenever the fitting actually broke at some point. I just don't understand how that fitting actually broke. Need a single filament bulb, of which that definitely is. There we go, see my collection. Honestly, the people that go to Halfords and buy like a single bulb or two bulbs for like £1.50, you are absolutely robbing yourself. Just go and buy them in packs of 10 and 20, and that last you years and save you an absolute fortune. Just buy things in bulk. Right, back to work. And approximately 3 hours later, it is done. We are done. Apart from the drums, I'm going to be spraying them up in a completely different shade of silver. I can't remember what part this is now. Is this part 3? Is it? Yes, it is. This is part 3. Part 4 will be Dynax and these. But oh yes, and I've cleaned the exhaust up a little bit. I thought it needed that, but it's all been stone chipped all over the place. I've tried to be as neat as possible. There's some areas that I just haven't got quite the consistency. But if we move to the front subframe, it's all looking really nice and neat. As neat as what you can expect from the underside of your car. Subframe looking really good under there. Now, it's taken me about an hour from when I got back and got the other stone chip. Yeah, all the areas have been covered, and I've just gone over with a bit of white spirit over the excess. It looks a bit stone chip mania, I can assure you. Yes, it does look like that on camera, and it is like that. Just things like the train arms I've gone over and just cleaned around there, and a bit at the back, filler pipes, that sort of thing. The next stage will be Dynax. This is complete, and I have a new bulb in my hand. Hopefully I won't get an electric shock. Oh, come on. I did this one-handed earlier, and oh god. Oh yeah, and twist it to the right or to the left. Yep, that was it. Put a bit of insulation tape on that wire that goes up into that grommet there at the back, and just twist it to the right. Lovely. Right, I'll check that works in a second just for security, but that's not going to touch anything, so it can stay like that. It's a nice new clean light fitting. But yep, we can admire the back side of this car because it's now complete. I've cleaned all around where the fuel tank is and the charcoal canister. So yeah, so I am going to leave this here because even though I was wearing a paint mask, I think I'm suffering from inhalation of paint, and I'm not surprised. I've used about 1.5 cans of stone chip. I was coughing fit on camera, but yeah, there's only do you know what, for a functional car this is what you get. As I say, I'm going to be doing the brake drums in brake caliper silver in an aerosol, so I'll just pack a load of papers around it so the silver doesn't go everywhere else. And I may have a look at the front brake calipers. I might actually just give these a quick spray up, but I don't think it'd be necessary. So guys, I'm going to leave this here. This is part 3, and I'm tired. It's been a long couple of days. Part 3 is being done over a couple of days, and things are really busy at the moment. I'm having a humongous amount of messages on YouTube, via my email, on Facebook, and it is really amazing that I've connected with so many people, enthusiastic people who share my passion for both this car, Beatrix, and just cars in general. and what I'm doing and how much I've inspired them, and it's really amazing. And please keep your messages coming. It's keeping me really busy, but I have to kind of get a balance between messaging people and carrying out the videos, because otherwise I'd never make a video, trust me. It's that bad. So I'm going to leave this here with this car in fine fettle, with the underside pretty much finished apart from a few odd bits and pieces. So you take care, guys. See you in part 4 for paint, drum caliper, the drum's been painted. Get your words right, Andrew. And Dynax. Just a can of Dynax. That's it. Take care. Right, okay, so now we are ready for the paint. We are firstly going to use our zinc. Fuck's sake.